Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with episode 19 of my Crazy Fives. And my apologies, it really ought to be episode 34 of my Italy's Holocaust, but as it would happen this weekend, I just didn't get the time. I just didn't get the time to get a fresh viewing. And even though it's a film that I've seen enough times, it always helps when you just get that fresh sort of relook at it before talking about it. And so I'm really hoping next week I'll get a chance to get that under my belt and give it the worthy attention that it deserves. But I had an idea for Crazy Fives, and it just sort of fell into my lap, and I decided, you know what, this will work. So a little bit of keeping though, right off the bat. You're going to hear me more and more, if it interests you, with BDG Reviews, our Monday review at BodyBags, on the podcast that he's part of, Graveyard Shit and Podcast. And last night we got together and did the first of hopefully will be a lot of podcasts between not only me and Glenn, but hopefully as well from time to time, Will be in there as well. It would have been great to have him in that last night. We did not, but we talked for about an hour and a half of a conversation that just sort of revolved around both the original novel of Who Goes There by John W. Campbell, the 51 film by Howard Hawks, Christian Ivey, The Thing from Another World, and of course John Carpenter's absolutely masterpiece of terror, The Thing from 1982. And so this conversation just went on for about an hour and a half. So look for that. That's coming, and I'll be doing a lot more of those with Glenn in the future. And with Thanksgiving coming up, that may be a possibility. So looking forward to that, or whatever else we decide to do. X-Files. We only got 2 more after this week. This Wednesday, 2 more, and then season 1 will be a wrap, and I may just take a week off or so. But just reminding you, my ongoing X-Files season is there as well. And 31 Days of Horror, hope yours went well. Of course, somehow I got through all 31 days, and so that's down there on my channel as well in the playlist for your convenience. And then today, out and about, decided to do, I just happened to be in the right area and went into one of the places that I like to go into. And this film just happened to be on my periphery in the last couple weeks. And now I realize now I could have just got it through Screen Factory, more money than I paid for it today. But I found it out in the wild in its DVD format for a fraction of that $24. And that is, of course, Fire in the Sky, which I'm being told is one of the best alien abduction horror films out there. I will know for sure tonight because I'm going to plan on watching it with my wife tonight. But I love it when a movie really lands on your mind and you just happen to be out in the wild and boom, there it is. I love it when it works out like that, and it's rare that it does, but it is. So I'll be reviewing this for BodyBags down the road, but I may get my first viewing. I've just wanted to see this for, maybe it's the X-Files, I don't know, but I've been wanting to see this for a really long time, but that was really, 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 really cool. Okay, so Crazy Fives, here we go. I think I'm going to go with, those ever-present standalones. You know, those movies that have never been sequelized, never been remade, never been franchised out, really just left alone. And I think, I'm pretty sure I have not hit this topic. I really hope I haven't. I should have went and looked, but I don't think I have. So I thought, what's in my collection that I'm very, very, very grateful has never been touched? It's just sort of left alone. Well, this being one of them, obviously. And although this movie, I consider this movie one of the greatest, if not the greatest slashers ever, I'm guided on my outside looking in, only because I've talked about Stage Fright, the Michele Soavi film from 1987, first released by Imperial Entertainment on VHS, which is this absolutely beautiful, beautiful thing here that I found on Amazon a couple years ago for only like, I don't know, I'll say 12 and change or something. I don't know how I lucked out there, but one of the greatest slashers ever. As a standalone, I am so thankful this movie has never been sequelized, even though the end is sort of leaves, it leaves, well, seemingly it leaves room open to the possibilities. Although Sylvain says the reason he ended it the way he did was sort of a jab at American horror films. You know, you got to have one last scare. You know, is the killer really dead? No, generally he's not, or she's not really dead. And so it was sort of a poke at that. But if you wanted to, I guess you could have done something with it. And I'm very thankful no one ever has. And I really hope no one ever does. Now, saying that, before I get into my top 5, which, again, chronological order, so I'm not ordering them in the way, what's my favorite, least favorite to most favorite. It's just in the year of release, which makes it a little easier on myself. But I was just talking with Glenn last night as we were talking The Thing. We were talking about remakes, sequelizations, and all this stuff. And there are those movies, and maybe that's another crazy 5's. Movies that you do sort of wish got a sequel or somehow got revisited. And I hate all these terms, but rebooted or whatever. One of those on my mind, of course, is Galaxy of Terror. That one seems like it begs for a readaptation. I guess a readaptation, a relook at. But anyways, oh, those films that stand alone. Stage Fright. Very thankful this one has never been messed with. All right, let's get into this top 5. Number 5, first released by Vidmark Entertainment, 1992. You'll know exactly what it is when I say the director. Peter Jackson, of course, 1992. Gore, and some more gore. Perhaps one of the greatest zombie films. One of the funnest zombie films ever. From New Zealand with love, Peter Jackson. I'm so glad that this movie, although you probably could have almost franchised the heck out of this thing, I'm really glad they haven't. It's one of those movies that's just, it's its own thing, man. It's its own thing. This was another beautiful find at a place that no longer exists here, unfortunately. I think it was a Movie Stop. I found it on the DVD rack for only like, I want to say it was like $8. And at the time, if you wanted it on Amazon, I want to say it was like up there in the stupid neighborhood of $80-90 or something stupid like that. And there it was for like $8 and change, sitting there right on the shelf. And you better believe I got it. And where is Peter Jackson's trilogy, the Forgotten Trilogy? I think that's what I don't know what he's going to call it, but this and the Feebles, Meet the Feebles, and Bad Taste. Supposedly, we're getting a box set that is 4K. I want to see that happen because I really would love to see this in 4K. I think it would really look pretty sweet. So, Dead Alive, or I think it's also known as Brain Dead, right? Number 4, Paramount released this on VHS. How awesome would it be to have a VHS copy of this one? From 1989, I'll say this, K&B, man, really did supply the effects in this one. And of course, we are talking Scott Spiegel and his Intruder. So glad, man, they left this alone. That we never got a sequel, never got a reboot, remake, whatever. So many dang cameos in this thing. This has got to be the greatest grocery store slasher ever in the history of grocery store slashers. Just awesome, man. Just awesome. The gore in here is, you got Ted, you got Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi. You got a Bruce Campbell cameo here at the end. Just an awesome release by, who did this? Snaps Films put this out. Just absolutely gorgeous. Incredible film. So glad it never got a remake or anything else. Same as I can say that for number 3. Embassy Pictures first put this out on VHS, 1982 film, a Paul Lynch film, and some of you out there still may not know what it is. It is one of my favorite subgenres, island horror. It is a Canadian film, and this has got to be one of the great VHS cover art. I'm so glad that, who put this out? Scorpion put this. I'm so glad they gave us alternative work as well as maintaining the original artwork. Humongous. So awesome. I absolutely love this movie. And maybe some of that, maybe a lot of that is nostalgia. I don't know. It's just a fun movie, man. It's part of what made the 80s so stinking great. I remember seeing the, in the newspaper, Glenn and I were talking about this last night, in the old days, whether it was your TV, or not TV, but like radio spots, sometimes you had to open up the newspaper and look for your movie ads. And the first time I saw this, and I might have seen a TV spot as well, I had to see it, man. I just had to see it. And yeah, it's loose, it's angry, and it's getting hungry. Humongous from 1982. Absolutely fun movie, man. Absolutely fun. So glad they left this alone. And I don't feel like that about everything. Some things though, I am really sort of glad they did. Number 2 is no exception. First put out by Video Treasures on VHS, 1981 film. Oh, the adorable Linda Blair. Tom DeSimone, I think that's how you say it. The very, very fun Hell Night. Man, I'm telling you what. And again, the original VHS cover art that we would have all known from renting the VHS tapes in the video stores. Scream Factory put that out. I would imagine there's alternative work in here as well. Yeah, there is the alternative work, which I'm not that fond of. It's all right. It's on the slip, on a slip cover as well. I'm, again, so glad, because this is iconic. This is what I remember, man. I remember that on the VHS box, renting that, loving it. And Linda Blair is just so adorable, man, in this movie. It's not the only one. So some Stage Fright, some Dead Alive, some Intruders, some Humongous, some Hell Night. Number 1, man, number 1. First put out by MGM United Artists on VHS. Again, another one I just would absolutely love to have on VHS. What did I write here? Oh, yeah. So a few things I remember from this back in the day, renting it on VHS, was the big article and the cover piece that Fangoria gave to it back in the day. There's a little bit of a, there's that whole gurgling sound behind the hedges. Some of you may start to, from 1980, may start to think you know what it is that I'm going towards. Kevin Connor is the director, one of the great black comedic horror films of the decade, man. Of course, we are talking Motel. Hello with the O dropped on the sign. I always thought that was pretty funny. Who put this out? Yeah, Scream Factory put this out. And again, here is the... actually, this is one of the cases where I kind of left the original, or not the original, but the alternative work art. Somebody else put this out. Was it Arrow, maybe? Somebody had put it out, and it was just an absolutely gnarly artwork on the cover. But I'm pretty sure the work inside is the original artwork. And then, of course, right there. But this movie, man, this movie is so crazy. Farmer Vincent, man. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this, man. Turning people into beef jerky, selling it, man. Putting these people in the ground out in the back of the property, and just cutting out their larynx so they can't yell or scream or whatever. And all you hear is just like low, murmuring, gurgling sound that is just so creepy. until they're well fed enough, and then they get yanked out of the ground and turned into some prized beef jerky. Motel Hell. This was one of the movies that my dad was pretty high on as I was a kid growing up, and just sort of fueled the imagination as he talked about it. And eventually I got around to seeing it. Love this, man. It takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters. The chainsaw duel in the end is pretty awesome. And that's, of course, as a kid, though, those things were always that much more, right? Yeah, so there you go. Technically 6 films, I guess, that have been never sequelized, never rebooted, reimagined, franchised out or whatever. Some of them make real sense. Some of them you can kind of imagine sequels having been done, but maybe thankfully not. They're just left alone. As a sequel to this, maybe I need to think up 5 films, which would be a lot harder, in my collection that are left alone, but really I wish would get the attention today. If not only that, people might be made more aware of the original. And isn't that the main sort of reason why we push remakes, sequels, or remakes, whatever, is just for that reason alone, right? So there you go. Number 1, some Motel Hell. Number 2, Hell Night. Number 3, Humongous. Number 4, Intruder. Number 5, Peter Jackson's Dead Alive. And of course, one of the great slashers of all time, Stage Fright at Outside Looking In. So there you go. Again, my apologies for skipping a week on Italy's Holocaust. It is Nightmare City is the film in question. I just need to get a fresh viewing, just to kind of have it fresh on my mind before I really talk about it. And so hopefully that'll all go down. And of course, X-Files is wrapping up its season 1, as I said earlier. Yeah, and then look for that podcast. Me and Glenn just talking about an hour and a half of The Thing. It's a great conversation. Anyways, we always end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream. We might be useful to